To another edition of the Gabagools Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff. With me today, as always, the Cuzzo Dan for episode 83. How we feeling?
Feeling. I'm going to use my usual terms here to describe myself and the way I'm feeling. I'm feeling loose, feeling limber, feeling light. Just cooked up. I shouldn't say that light. Just cooked up a little breakfast for the woman and I. Did a little scrambled eggs, candied some bacon in the oven. Threw them on some bagel with a little cream cheese, a little hot sauce on there. Didn't have any avocado in the house today, so I think next time we got to get that on there. But it's a staple of mine. Huge. The woman loves it too, Maria. So um, yeah, feeling good, feeling good.
Very good. Yeah, I'm a big breakfast sandwich guy myself, and
Oh,
eggs and whatnot too. I think I made Emmy some eggs this morning. She did some eggs and sourdough. We're big sourdough just because you got three ingredients. Can't beat that.
I love me some sourdough. A nice little chew to it.
What hot
it's a
sauce do
good
you
bread.
use? Are you a Tabasco or are you a Cholula?
Cholula, if we're talking about those two. I like Frank's too. I got a
Frank's is
couple hot ones, hot sauces I like to use as well. But yeah, Tapatio's not bad either. That's
no,
and if you haven't tried the Doritos Tapatio flavor,
it sounds
go
good.
ahead and oh man, they're like the best ones.
Awesome.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
enough breakfast sandwiches for now. We'll have to do that because obviously football season's ending. We'll have to have a little breakfast Mount Rushmore. But jumping in here, let's lead us off with baseball. My White Sox have been all over the place recently. I know we haven't done the pod. We didn't do the pod last week, and I don't think we mentioned it. But Luis Robert got traded to the Mets. What did you think about that one?
I thought that was quite interesting. Let's just go ahead and take another step back. Your buddy Chris Getz is really making some moves over here. He's shaking some things up. And as
Yeah,
a fan, I think you've got to love it because
yeah,
you've talked about it. This rebuild didn't work for whatever reason. Maybe the clubhouse wasn't great, but you had what seemed like a lot of talent in there. And for whatever reason, just didn't get the job done. Some guys couldn't stay healthy, some guys were underperforming. Um, the Robert move is a little interesting to me because he's been rumored to be moved the last 2 or 3 years, at
yeah.
beginning of the year, deadline, and off season, and now you move him. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this was the last year or was this a qualifying offer?
So this was the qualifying offer. So we did pay him. It was a team option. We paid him the 20 million because we had nothing else to lose. I mean, right
Yeah,
now when you're like 30 games we go below 500, you're in a rebuild. It's okay to pay some players and just
sure.
take it on. Like you mentioned though, it's been 3 years in the making of like, are they trading him? Are they not? 23 was his best season in his career. So that was kind of a surprising thing. And the thing with Robert was too, is he just never stayed healthy. I think he played 140 games in 23, and that was it. Like other than that, you're looking at 100 to 110. But yeah, that was surprising that they moved him now rather than in by the deadline. Then again, like I just said, he gets hurt, you get nothing for him. So picking
Yeah,
up a small prospect for him with Luis Angel Acuna, uh, it's whatever in my opinion. He is one of those guys that's kind of a utility. He'll probably play outfield for us, starting center field, I would assume, and then moving around the infield if guys need off days. He's not going to tear you off. He's not going to really tear you off the stat sheet either. Nothing really worth mentioning. Um, the prospect they got in return as well. Let me see. I think they got like another pitcher. I had it and I lost it. Um,
yeah, I
let me
forget who that was.
Yeah. So it's like one of those. It was like one of those moves where I was okay with it just because you're not really gonna. Oh, it
You're
was true.
worried about not getting anything for him, like you said, right? If
Yeah.
he's either underperforming or if he's hurt again by the deadline, you're like, okay, now I'm literally getting nothing. You're not even getting that. So I get it, but yeah, I mean, um,
Truman Pauly was the guy I was thinking of. He's like a double A pitcher, throws pretty hard. Could be a nice little option. You never know. A lot of those guys end up
yeah,
popping off, or you can never have too many arms in the bullpen, and a lot of the arms that we traded, a couple of them like just recently. Yario Uriarte. I'm really bad with names, as we all know, but the guy we got from Dylan Cease, he was the guy behind Drew Thorpe. We just designated him for assignment, so he's gone. So
Oh
right now,
no.
that trade's looking horrible in some aspects because none of the guys that panned out. We like Thorpe, but outside of his changeup, he throws a lot of meatballs because he doesn't throw all that hard. And then with him coming off Tommy John, let's see what he does this spring.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? I like Thorpe. I thought he was,
I do
I
too.
mean, you mentioned the changeup in a day and age where that pitch is more important than it's ever been when you got guys throwing like Mason Miller throwing 104, 105 miles an hour. If
Yeah.
you've got a good changeup, I like some of his stuff. I actually think that I mean, you mentioned he's coming off of TJ, so I don't know. You got to maybe try to be a little bit more realistic with the expectations for this year. But I think going forward, the next couple of years, I think he's solid. We've mentioned a lot of your prospects you have. A lot of the top ones are pitchers. They look like they're going to be pretty good. If you guys end up having a really strong staff in the next 2 or 3 years, I hate to say this, you're going to have more than something. You're just going to have to you need a little bit of offense.
Yeah, and I think the offense is coming. Like I've mentioned before, they're going to draft Rock Chalowski 1 overall. I
Yeah.
mean, unless something weird happens, but he'll be a nice addition. There's some other prospect, Braden Montgomery. I've mentioned him. He'll be up soon. And we'll just see what we got out of the team. But that wasn't the only additions that the Sox made. They obviously went out and signed Sir Anthony Dominguez to a 2-year deal, right? Pretty much
Hmm.
right after they traded Robert. Um, like that deal. Need a like kind of a late
I like
end.
him.
Do
He's
you know he's only
solid.
got 40 saves, 40 career saves? He's been in the
You
league
know,
for as long as
Yeah,
he has,
I
only
don't think
40.
he hasn't been a closer for all those years though.
No,
He got the job and then he had lost it or the guy I forget who they had came back and he's good though. If he so you're saying is he's going to slot in as your number nine, your ninth inning guy now or
I don't know. Just because like by default, I mean he kind of does. He's got the most experience, but the problem is like he really doesn't close out games. Like he's one of the more high leverage guys, if anything. You have Grant. We got Grant Taylor, Matt Vessel, a couple other guys that are really nice. You went out and signed Sean Newcomb as well. So the bullpen actually looks pretty revamped. So that's another positive, but we'll see if Dominguez ends up sliding into that slot. But you slide it, you bring it back a little bit further too. They went out and signed this weekend to Austin Hayes. So you basically pretty much replaced Robert's production based off of how often he plays. Maybe less stolen bases, but you might get 15 home runs out of him. So that's about what Robert
Austin
brings.
Hayes is a nice player.
He
He's a nice
is.
player. So and he doesn't always have that everyday role.
Yeah.
I think with Cincinnati he was playing mostly every day, but he's gonna if he stays healthy, he's gonna play 150, 160 games for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that move a lot because it's a no risk move. It's a 1 year deal. I mean,
He's a veteran.
yeah, I mean, if you end up with a couple of logjam guys, which I don't think they're going to have in the outfield, you could always try to trade them at the deadline. But we'll see what ends up happening. And then yesterday was the big one: Jordan Hicks and let me get him the other name and David Sandelin from the Red Sox to the White Sox for Gage Zell. What was your thought initially when you saw that trade?
Well, I will tell you, um, again, my first, my initial thought was going right back to Chris Getz, right? He's making a lot of moves, and you gotta respect everything he's doing. Jordan Hicks, um, a couple of years ago as a reliever was elite, right? He was really,
Yeah,
really good, and San Fran tried to move him as a starter, and I think that he's one of those guys. There's a lot of guys in the league. You look at him and you say, this guy's got really good stuff. Jordan Hicks, ever since he came in, man, he's got really good stuff. If you add him to your bullpen, like you just said, with all the other guys you got in there, you guys end up having one of the better bullpens in your own division, potentially. And
I
then
know.
maybe even more than that. If you try to have him in your rotation, it's interesting because he's been tried out as a starter the last couple of years, so he's got some more innings built up under him, I believe.
Yep.
Um, so I like the move. I again another move I like that you guys made, and Getz is getting it done.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and
Hick,
to build
Hicks is
off of
good.
it, it was a salary dump trade once again. And that's funny because like the first thing Getz said when he traded Luis Robert was, "Hey, we just we cleared out $20 million. we're gonna go make some moves. We'll see what Hicks does. He hasn't been very good. Let's not beat around the bush. I think he's gonna be the savior of the team. He'll
Yeah.
slot into the rotation strictly on the fact that the Sox don't have anyone else right now. It's a very bare bones rotation. You got a couple guys that are okay. You don't know if any of these guys are going to stick long term, but he's
Hicks
going to
is
go.
still pretty young though, I think. So like he still has that chance, right? If he
Yeah,
pulls off a good year for you guys, he's got a chance to stick around not only with you guys but in the league as a starter. And then we've
yeah.
mentioned you guys have other guys that are going to be coming up in the next couple years, but I still like his stuff a lot. He throws. I mean, everybody throws hard, but he's got really good stuff.
Oh yeah. And that's the
Um,
big thing that they added too. Gats got added so many guys that throw 102 now. You throw him into the mix, like you said, if he ends up in the bullpen. But this other guy that that I know a lot of Red Sox fans on Twitter were saying that they hated getting rid of was David Sandelin. Apparently, he was one of their highly touted prospects coming out of I think he was in AAA for a cup of coffee. So we'll see what ends up happening with him, but he could be a guy that comes up and slots into the 5 position for the Sox as well. So I'm excited about him. He hits like mid 90s, and then he can hit up to 101 or 102. We'll see what he does. He's had quite the ERA when he transitioned up to AAA. So once again, like I said, if it's one of those June, July call ups, like, hey, we have a guy open, he might go make a couple spot starts. We're not trying to like go crazy, but I'm looking at the over. Vegas, I think, put it out that the Sox have a 64.5 game over under. I'll take that out all day, and I'll take the over. I think they're going to win 65 games this year, which is still an improvement
oh,
over the
all
last couple.
right.
It depends on these young guys, though. Like we've said before, if the young guys start hitting, the
How many did
bullpen's
you guys finish with last year?
61.
Boy, I tell you, honestly, with some of these additions here, I mean, Sir Anthony, I think is going to give you some decent innings out of the pen. Um, Hicks is probably going to win you some games. We'll see how consistent he is. You've mentioned Hayes.
It's not bad. I mean, they
I could
added like
see.
Anthony K. Anthony K was another arm that they added to the bullpen too, or rotation. I don't know if he's a rotation guy, but a lot of these guys are kind of like in between. They've started a couple of years and then they go back to the bullpen, but it's not bad. It's a lot of junk. We're gonna see what shit we threw at the wall and sticks. Essentially, is this terminology I'm going to use because these aren't the Kyle Tucker ads. This isn't a Bregman ad. This is just, hey, what can we get as a stopgap for some of these guys until something pans out, and then I'm wondering if the Sox are kind of in this holding pattern until the new owner takes over, and then as soon as the new owner takes over, it's like just the floodgates start opening with the money.
I honestly could see you guys closer to 70 wins this year.
Possible.
I could easily see that. You got a couple moves that are kind of low risk, potentially high reward, right? So watch out for the White Sox this year.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, it's definitely not on. Wasn't on my bingo card to be that dominant, but we'll see. They might be risky. Dominant, just 65 wins. All right, let's touch on just a quick around the league real quick. Gino Suarez returns to Cincinnati, 1 year, $15 million deal, mutual option for 27. I think that was a steal of a deal I like that for the Reds. Brings him back. He can hit a home run in a home run hitter friendly park. I think he'll be like the anchor of that Cincinnati lineup to give some breaks off to Ellie, since Ellie doesn't seem to want to take. He takes those lulls. Ellie De La Cruz is funny because he'll take these lulls around the whole league where he'll be hot for like the first month. You're talking MVP. And then he falls off for 3 and you don't even hear from him. You're like, oh shit, Ellie De La Cruz is still out there.
You know what though? You mentioned it with A Eugenio. Smart move. It's a nice move by the Reds, and in that ballpark, you're talking about a guy that he had what 40 or
49.
I was going to
49
say
last year.
had almost 50 last year. You could see him getting pretty close to that again. It's tough to replicate 50, but in that ballpark, he could hit 20 or 30.
Yep, exactly. Another 1 year deal. This has kind of been funny. Some of these deals I'm seeing, some of these big name players, they're signing 1 year deals. Is
Yeah.
Luis Reyes, Arias. 1 year, 12 million with San Francisco. San Francisco is bringing in just about everybody because not long before that they brought in Harrison Bader to a 2 year, $20 million deal. So watch out for San Francisco.
Yeah, they've made some nice moves. I don't know if they've made a lot of the A moves. I love Luis Ariz. I'd say he's right around there. His bat the ball skills are just elite, and it's crazy that it took that long for him to get a 1 year deal.
I think it's
But
because of his base running. His base running was so poor for the Padres, and then his defense was just so bad that like nobody wanted to deal with it and sign him to like
I
a long year deal. Like I
I
guess
that's
that
the
was
only thing I could think of, right? Like he's a one trick pony with the hitting, but at the end of the day, he's going to hit you 300. He's going to hit you a couple homers, maybe. But in a day and age where the batting average is getting lower and lower, a guy that can hit you 300 is pretty valuable, you'd think.
I thought so. I mean, I was always a batting average guy when it when we're talking to it. Like I like a nice
And I
320.
like real quick too. I like Bader a lot too. He's improved
Oh yeah,
his offense the last couple of years. He's been bouncing around a lot, and we know how good he is defensively in center field to play in that ballpark. And then
yep,
I think they still have Jung Hoo Lee, right,
yep.
who's going to play. So you got two guys to patrol that huge outfield. I do like that move.
Yeah, and Elliot Ramos, he's been hot. Like he had an underrated season last year
He's a
too.
solid hitter, yeah.
Yeah, but then to round it up with Willie Adames, Chapman, Casey Schmidt's still on the team, so that's solid. Rafael Devers, obviously, and then Patrick Bailey behind the plate. So you have to tip your cap to what Buster Posey kind of turned around with that team. He made sure he came in as president and was like, "Hey, we're making some moves and we're going to do it quickly."
You'll have to look up the win total for them because I'd like to know. I don't. I still think they're probably under 90, but I think they're probably closer to 85, 87, maybe.
Let me see. I'll look at the over under.
I mean, like what I'm saying is, I like the moves they've made, but you know, you still look at the
Yeah.
Dodgers and you say, well, that team's going to win 100 and how many games?
Yeah, I know, and that's the tough part. I mean, it's the Dodgers are bust or still, so it's 81 to 82 for the over
Oh,
under.
geez,
So, I mean,
lower
that's
than
enough to
that,
probably get you into the wild card because
right?
there's so many weird teams, and those teams that we expect like the Reds every year that we keep putting them like, oh, they're going to take this next leap. They end up
How
not.
about the Reds this year?
They might, but yeah. What else you got for baseball?
Did we mention Cody Bellinger going back to the Yankees?
I did
Five
not.
years. 5 years. That's. I mean, I think most people expected him to go back to the Yankees, but it just took
No.
way longer than it should have. I know he was waiting out, but I heard for maybe 7 years. Didn't want to go that long, but Cody's really revived his career. As a Cub fan, you know, I would have loved us to keep him. I was a huge Bellinger fan.
Yeah.
Love the guy. I love his defensive versatility. He's a Gold Glover in center field and first base. You don't have many people, if any, that can do that in the league. And he's a great hitter, and he can hit lefties too. And he can run. He's a five-tool player. Good for the Yankees on that. Anything on Cody?
Not surprised. I mean, Yankees needed to sign somebody, or their fan base was probably gonna go to Yankee Stadium and find Brian Cashman. That was kind of my assumption if they didn't go out and sign somebody. Uh, but I mean, I like it. I like Bellinger staying there. It's still interesting to see Stanton, Judge, and Belly.
Yeah.
You might get 60 games total out of all of them playing together. But it is what it is. The Yankees, in my opinion, still stay kind of overrated. They go as far as Judge will take them.
Okay, I got two more for you. The Mackenzie Gore traded to Texas,
That was wild.
wasn't it? I mean, I think they hauled back 4 or 5 players, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how highly touted they were. I know a lot of them were like in the teens of like the team's prospects. So, but Mackenzie Gore's name's been thrown around there the last year or two at the deadline. The Cubs were potentially linked to him. There were other teams linked to him. I think they were asking for a lot. I think they got a decent haul for him. Um, but you look at Texas now. Seager's got to stay healthy. I know they shipped Semien out, but you've got Nimmo over there. You still have Wyatt Langford, who's a stud. Um, you got DeGrom coming off of a great year. You got Evaldi, who will be back. You've got Mackenzie Gore now. Still have Jack Leiter and potentially Kumar Rocker. John Gray. great stuff again. Just can't figure it out. I've had him on fantasy teams. Johnny boy, if you could just stay healthy, man, you always throw a couple games out there, 7 innings, 2 hit ball, 10 strikeouts. You've got it. Just God damn it, figure it out. And yeah, I mean, Texas could be a scary team this year.
Yeah, I mean, Gore was always one of those guys too. I'm kind of laughing at it from the Nationals' perspective too. You trade Juan Soto, you finally get Mackenzie Gore. He's going off, he's doing well, and then you trade him. C.J. Abrams has been on the kind of trade block, and then you also add into it. I think not James Wood. I haven't seen his name yet mentioned, but they
Robert
almost do
Hassel, maybe.
they do a rinse and repeat where I mean, yeah, you got 5 prospects, but like none of these guys have really stepped up. I mean, I think we saw Ortiz up there with Texas for a little cup of coffee last year too, but we'll see. Whenever you get 5 of them, you might get 2 that pan out. Unfortunately for the Nationals, though, you had such a good deal, and then you just kind of couldn't do anything with it with the Nationals. But I think that's just a team that just won't take the next step because they just don't spend enough money in the free agency.
Yeah, I like a lot of Washington's young players, but they definitely are an incomplete team. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, now losing McKenzie, your best pitcher, I don't know where they go from here in this next year. But I got one more for you.
Yep.
Mets acquiring the ex-Brewer, Freddie Peralta.
Yeah. Mets were serious after missing out on Tucker. It seemed like they were serious about going after it. I know you're thrilled probably to never see
Great.
Freddie Peralta. So it's so funny though. I think a lot of like Cubs fans, just because they're not, they don't look outside of their little small cocoon of the AL Central. So when they look in, they didn't see the prospects that returned. Jet Williams was one of the Mets' top prospects. I know you know him because we played Dynasty and stuff. He's really solid. I think he's like 18 or 19. He's going to be great for the Brewers, and he's going to fit into that like a bunch of no-name infielders that just take off. So I mean, watch out, Bryce Terang. I think you're getting shipped out next once Jet's ready. But I actually really like that move for the Brewers too, just because what they ended up getting in return, like I said, was solid. They got him, and then you move and you got the pitcher. What was his name?
Brandon Sproat.
Yeah, Brandon Sproat was one of the top pitching prospects too for the Mets. Had a cup of coffee up there with the Mets last year.
Mm-hmm.
He can easily fit in to be that number 5 in that rotation.
Already, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they got 2. They got 1 MLB ready. I mean, he's not Peralta caliber yet, but you got Mizorowski already, so it's solid. And then, like you said, when you look at the Mets, they're going all in to try to compete with the Dodgers. They went out and got Luis Robert and whatnot. You never know in a 7-game series what might happen.
Well, real quick, they lost out on Tucker. Let's be fair
Yeah.
here. I mean, I heard they offered him 50 or 55 million a year, and the Dodgers said, "Okay, well, we'll give you 60." So you lost out on Tucker, but potentially, I mean, Robert is one of those guys where if he stays healthy and the weather is warm, he could be one of the best players. We've seen it. And then with Fastball Freddie up there with them, you still got Nolan McLean and. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the Mets are, though. I still like the Phillies and the Braves.
Yeah, Braves are one of those teams that didn't really make a whole lot of moves this offseason, too, which was kind of disappointing, but we'll see. I think their biggest move is just staying healthy. But jumping off of baseball, just to close it out kind of real, briefly, let's touch on the AFC and NFC championships. AFC, you want to start off with the AFC? Yeah, let's start off with the AFC. We had Denver Broncos and Patriots. Patriots pulled it out 10-7. They punched their 12th Super Bowl appearance. I'm so tired of the Patriots. Broncos, you had one job. I know you were starting Stidham, but you had one job just for the AFC. Do it for the AFC so we don't have to see freaking the Patriots in the Super Bowl again. But lo and behold, you didn't. So
should be a more competitive Super Bowl. No offense to Jarrett Stidham, but I mean, if I told you Jarrett Stidham threw for more yards than the potential league MVP, what would you say?
I would have said you're crazy. That's what I would have said. Rich said something kind of funny. I'm going to steal his quote. He called Drake May check down Charlie. And it's very true, even though it's very funny because I feel like most of the games you see Drake May just do these little dink and doink and then launches one. I did the statistics on it. He was second in the league behind Sam Darnold for air yards downfield. So the check down Charlie quote doesn't exactly stick, but when you watch a game and you don't look at the statistics, you're like sitting there like tunnel vision. And it's like, oh, okay, Drake May just did that, but I couldn't believe it. And they won 10-7. It was a snowy game. Patriots scored early and just held it. So we'll see what ends up happening. Nothing really to mention. I know the Broncos fired their offensive coordinator, I think right after that. So I had to laugh.
Yeah, it was his fault.
Yeah.
Tough conditions though in that game. You had the snow. I mean, Stidham was, hey, he came out a couple years ago and said he feels like he should be a starter. Well, he did all. I mean, he didn't play a terrible game, I guess, considering the conditions. But yeah, I mean, just fucking get the win, man. Come on.
I know. And a bunch of missed field goals that entire game. But
yeah,
well, we have to go see Drake May, and if he wins, he'll probably win MVP, sadly. But on the other side, let's jump into the Rams and Seahawks shootout, 31-27. Sam Darnold, his redemption story. I love it. Obviously, a USC guy, first USC quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. Can you believe that?
I actually can't because USC's known, or they've been known to have a lot of good quarterbacks go through there, and they have their offenses usually they were always good for a while. So all those guys are getting drafted into the league, and you're like that stat is a bit shocking, I would say, but this game was just, I mean, from a fan standpoint, so much better to watch. I know, I think football in the snow is awesome to watch too, but nothing was happening in that game. The first quarter of this game was better than the entire Pats Broncos game. Superb quarterback play, right? Both quarterbacks had right around 350 yards. I think each had at least 3 touchdowns through the air. Nakua and then Jigba, you both had your best receivers going at it. They both had almost identical games as well. The running backs, I think Kenneth Walker got in the end zone. I think Blake Corum was the main guy. As far as yardage goes, I mean, this was a very evenly matched back and forth game. A couple of divisional rivals going at it. And, I mean, you feel bad for Stafford because it would have been fun to have the two guys, the league MVP candidates, going up against, in the final game of the season. But I still think it's going to be a whale of a game. Obviously, we have the rematch from, 2015?
Yeah, 2015, technically, yeah.
So it'll be good. I think this game might go a little bit differently this year. I like Seattle a lot, but I think we're in for a good game either way,
Yeah, I did. I was looking up because I wanted to see how close their defenses were. And honestly, their offenses were both top 2 in the league. I was shocked to see. So obviously, points per game, Seahawks, they had 28.4, so third in the NFL. And then you go to the Patriots, they were second with 28.8. They did score a lot, but once again, I want to be the schedule police. But granted, you can't help but whoever you face on your schedule. But they seem to have a pretty big cupcake schedule.
They did
this year, and just kind of looked in. I mean, they ran through it, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Texans defense really." When they faced the Texans a couple weeks ago, that was the best defense that they saw. But I don't think so.
It was New England's defense that was better in that game. I mean, Stroud couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's C.J. Stroud. Ever since he big brothered Caleb Williams a couple years ago, it hasn't been very good for him.
Shouldn't have done that, C.J.
No, but Seattle's defense is one of the stingiest in the league. They don't allow over, their rush defense is third in the league. They don't allow over 100 yards in a game. And then their pass defense is 10th. I can't think of his first name, but Eminawari, he's a safety, I believe. I think he plays safety. He is incredible for the Seahawks. Like I said, he's a rookie. And then their offense, pretty solid. And then you flip it over to the Patriots. Once again, you got a top 10 defense, top 5 in rush yards, and then 9th in pass defense. So it's very evenly matched. I mean, like I said, I give it to the Seahawks because they have the advantage with defense. I feel like their defense is so much better. But I'm not sleeping on the Patriots defense whatsoever. Like you said, whale of a game. Give me the Seahawks. Give me Sam Darnold. Gets that redemption. Gets to be the first QB from the 2018 class. that gets a Super Bowl. He's the first one to start one. You know, you had Lamar, you have Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, wherever the hell he might be hanging
And the
out.
first USC quarterback to win a Super Bowl then, right?
How
How about that?
how crazy would that be? That
That's a
would
lot
make
of firsts.
it would make my day. But yeah, anything to close out. Anything you want to mention on the Super Bowl?
No, I'm honestly, let's just make sure the commercials this year are good, right? I think last year they were maybe a little bit better than they'd been in a while. I felt like when we were a little bit younger, like 10, 15 years ago, the commercials were actually pretty good, or most of them were.
Yeah.
So, let's bring back let's get everyone back into the commercials. Let's get some good laughs in there and go Seahawks.
Yep. Go Seahawks, and then gotta love the food too. I don't know if you have anything
Oh
planned for
yeah.
your food yet, but obviously got to do the chicken buffalo chicken dip. You know, it's usually a staple. My entree this year is going to be like Philly cheesesteaks, like a chicken Philly on a Hawaiian roll. That's my plan.
Oh.
So that's going to be a little bit different. And then obviously go get some jewel wings. Jewel wings are always solid. And then to close it out, I saw on TikTok this recipe. It's a pound cake with like some like jelly filling on top. And you throw some of that no bake cheesecake. And
Oh.
then on top of that, throw some Cool Whip. And I think you refrigerate for a little bit.
Holy shnikes. All right, so what time is this happening?
Exactly.
Holy cow. Yeah, I don't know if we have exact plans yet. We're trying to figure out if we're getting together with people, if we're just staying home. But if we stay home, we're definitely going to do a couple things. You have to, right? It's a party. It's a party.
I actually prefer watching the game alone, usually because I place a bet and I like just like scrolling on
Got
it.
the
Don't
comfort
have
of
to.
your own couch. You can wear your
Yeah,
pajamas. You can cook a couple things that you want to eat. You got it
I
already
never.
in the house. You got
I
your
don't have
nice
to shirt.
TV with the soundbar system. You don't have
Yep.
to have a shirt on.
Yeah. Yeah. No shirt, no pants, no problem. Then you also don't have to drive. I'm not a big fan of like, okay, because the game doesn't start like usually these parties you go at 3 o'clock and then you have to wait until 7 for the game. It's like I'm already ready to leave by that point. And
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
especially having a kiddo, it's not as easy.
Boy,
But
I was gonna say, man, you sound old now.
I am. I am.
Kick off. Ah, man, I gotta get out of here.
See you later. Oh, I got here at 2 o'clock. Oh, the game's not until 7. Peace out. It's gonna be a 5 hour game as it is. So, but yeah, I think we'll close out there. See you guys later.
83.